What's up, everyone? Kyle here. I am super excited to let you all know that my first published book is out now. It's called Travel Tips, a 20-something's comprehensive guide for traveling in the modern world. It's available on dorantsbookstore.com, I believe is the website. It's going to be available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble on their online websites soon as well. And you can also get a copy directly from me. You can just email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com, and we can talk about a book, and I'll get a signed copy to you. I'm super excited to share it with you all. This was a dream come true for me, a bucket list item in the making, and I'm super excited to share it all with you now. So go check it out, everyone. There will be a link in the description below, and enjoy the episode. All right, welcome everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen, and today I have with me my good friend, Becca. Becca, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good, glad to hear it. And we were just talking before we jumped on here that we both made it home and then from Cuba, and then have had hectic weeks. So we're getting through it.
We're getting there.
um, yeah, well, let's just kind of start it off.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Cuba? I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I mean, I thought it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I keep telling people it was like going into a time warp.
Yeah.
With all of the cars and the way the buildings were structured, um, even seeing like sort of the destruction, but also the rebuilding sort of happening at the same time was really, really interesting.
Hmm.
Um, Everyone was just so nice. Like I don't know if I've met nicer people.
Yeah, I agree. That was, I've traveled to some poorer countries over the years, and people are generally friendly anywhere you go, but especially in poor countries, I feel like. But this was like on another level.
Yeah, the
Just,
the Casa Particular we stayed at, the staff there knew everybody's names by the end of it, and we were there
oh
for
yeah,
5 days. So just even that small detail of knowing somebody's name was so special and so unexpected.
yeah, and I mean, they knew what drinks we wanted, how we wanted our eggs. Like they were just above and beyond anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But
It was
okay.
they were kind of like an added bonus to the trip. Like it was something that wasn't planned, but turned out to be like something that to the fun of the trip.
Yeah, definitely. And I tried not to go in to this experience having expectations. I've had some friends go to Cuba previously, like sort of on their own accord,
Hmm.
and they've told me stories, particularly around the food. Um, that's one thing that people keep asking me. It's like, "How is the food?" Um, so I tried to not have any expectations, just generally, but also knowing that this was FTLO's first trip to Cuba.
Hmm.
So I tried to take everything with a grain of salt, but everything just sort of exceeded the natural limited like expectations I had. Um, and yeah, everything was just wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really didn't know what to expect at all.
Yeah.
But man, everything was just way better than I could have imagined,
Yeah.
including the food.
Yeah. I mean, they clearly did their jobs in scouting out restaurants because everything we ate was great. Um, I mean, even down to like the farm to table meal, which was like exceptional.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of that. I know my family has enjoyed that picture, but
I'm refrained from sharing that one, although I probably should share it more.
it was fresh.
It was real fresh.
Yeah, it was funny, especially right after we just saw all the little pigs running around. Uh,
Circle of life. Tried to
yeah,
keep reminding myself of that.
I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I just saw that one this morning.
Oh god.
Uh,
No, but that experience was great too, because even though like we did see, the pigs running around, it was a reminder that they use everything and nothing is wasteful. And it's not just feeding, people you will never meet, like feeding the people who were actually helping on the farm and those families who have an impact on the way that that functions and runs.
mhm. Yeah, that was amazing. Just how they're able to basically run the entire farm and have it be solely sustainable off of what they have on the farm.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think I know it's becoming more popular in the U.S. now, but I would love to see that become a thing because I think we waste so much.
Oh, totally. I in college, I went to college in upstate New York, and I had an opportunity to go visit a dairy farm and learn about like their sustainable practices there. And my experience there reminded me a lot of the experience we had in Cuba, where they're talking about sustainability and the ways of using and reusing everything to make sure nothing goes to waste. But
Mhm.
yeah, in the US, it's definitely not the norm, although I would love it to be.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of amazing too that they were able to run it the way that they do and be as successful as they are with 90% of everything they produce being
Mhm.
taken by the government and redistributed too.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting part that I had like some sort of concept of, um, in the way that the government functions and how everything is sort of funneled. Well, not everything, but most things are funneled through the government.
Hmm.
But even taking away that piece of it, being able to be sustainable with what they have left was really impressive.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely a highlight of the trip for me, for
Mhm.
sure. What were some other highlights for you?
Salsa dance classic for sure. I love to dance. I grew up dancing. I was in show choir in high school. Fun facts, and so that was just very fun. Getting to watch them perform and then getting to dance with them in the high school gym that we were in, but then
Yeah.
also after their performance was just so fun and so special to then be able to connect with them later that day and have them remember us. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, it was really fun. I also just felt really special because I could pick up choreography really quickly, and a couple of the dancers realized that. So that was fun.
Yeah, there's definitely you and some others that were better and some that were not not as good. But I think we all sucked compared to them, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. I do not consider myself a dancer now. I can dance. I'm not a dancer now. But yeah, watching them
Yeah.
perform was so fun. I felt like I was watching like a rehearsal for So You Think You Can Dance. Like it was just very cool.
Yeah, they were just on another level and especially how young they are too to be that good. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then yeah, like you said, getting to see them like that night too actually perform and be a part of that. That was I don't know. I thought that was a really really fun day.
That that whole day, that was a long day, but
Yeah.
that whole day was great. I mean, that day was oh gosh, it was running around in the cars. It was
Yeah.
the salsa class,
God,
dance
yeah.
by the water,
They went to the art
the
place
cigar and rum, and then the dinner and dance.
and then we went out. Jeez, that was quite the day.
That was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I mean everything though was it just seemed very well thought out, very well planned. I didn't dislike any of it.
Not at all. Uh,
Um,
yeah, I mean, riding around in the cars was so fun. Um, I was talking to that we're friends with, Leah, and she was saying that people often ask her what's her favorite place that she's ever been, and she said favorite places, she's favorite moments,
mm,
and I kept thinking about that in Cuba because there was a moment in the convertibles where the driver for my car, and I was with a couple of other our friends, a radio in the car, and somehow had Whitney Houston. And there was a moment where we were just yell singing Whitney Houston, driving around in a convertible in Havana, like the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah. Did you guys get a video of that at all?
I have a little bit. Um, I think I took a video of you and Sarah singing in the background.
Oh. uh,
Sarah, to be fair, Sarah was sick, and so
yeah.
hearing her sing Whitney Houston was funny. I think I have a little video of that though. I'll have to find it.
Okay, yeah, I would love to see that. That's funny. Especially with her voice at the time.
Oh my gosh. I love taking photos and videos while I travel, but lately I've been trying to be more present in where I am, and so I don't have photos and videos of like specific things just because I tried to
Mhm.
be in that moment and be present.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, you can't see it all through the camera lens. You got to actually experience it too.
Yeah, and I'm historically very guilty of taking too many photos and living through the lens. So I've been consciously trying to be more in where I not be, on my phone or on my camera.
Yeah, I feel like that's good advice for life.
I can't say the same for concerts, but
Uh,
sure, seeing things through my camera is how I'll see them physically.
yeah, but the nice thing is that you get to relive it again and again too.
That's very true, and I often do.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you traveled far away to go to a concert before?
The farthest I traveled was LA to see Taylor Swift, which should really come as no surprise.
Not to me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, big Swifty over here. But my friends and I joke about going to see, like, getting tickets to go see someone in like London or something, but I've never actually pulled the
Mhm.
trigger.
Yeah. Well, what was it like? So you're in New York. What was it like, traveling across the country and with the idea in mind that like we're going to see this concert?
Um, it's a good question. So my best friend from college lives in LA, so it while it was like very intentional that I was going to see Taylor Swift with him, it was also I get to see my best friend. So
Mhm.
I was sort of in the mindset of yay Taylor, but also yay friend. Um, they don't get to see him very often.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Um, yeah. Well, and we became friends traveling on these trips. We met in Morocco actually. Actually, we met in the Madrid airport.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say, technically, I think we've been on 4 countries' soil together in the last 6
uh,
months.
yeah, yes, we have. Wow, that's wild.
I know. I did that math the other day. Is it 4 or 5? Spain, Morocco,
Oh, we were in Portugal
Portugal,
too.
Cuba, US, 5.
Yes, yeah. Oh, wow, that's wild.
I know.
Huh.
Yeah,
Three
because we
different
ended up
continents
in
too.
Lisbon together after Morocco.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
I know. I met you
Morocco
6
feels
months
like a
ago.
lifetime ago.
I know. I know it does.
What'd you think of that trip?
That was so fun. So I have done one other group travel trip prior to Morocco with a different company. Um, and I was very intentional about choosing where I wanted to go and the company I chose to go with. The
Mhm.
last time I did a group travel trip, I was 28 and was just in a very different place in my life, like mentally, and it was very much like party, 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 and that's not what I wanted out of the trip. So
Mhm.
something more cultural. I wanted something um, a little bit more adventurous, but not having to rely on alcohol to have a good time. Um, and I wanted to go with people who were going to be in a similar mindset and similar age. So going with
Mhm.
FTLO and going to Morocco was sort of the perfect fit. And I just had the best time. We all sort of gelled really well, which was great considering we spent a lot of time on a bus together.
Spent a lot
Um,
of time together.
a lot of time together on the bus, specifically. Uh, I mean, there was one day where it was, I think, 8 hours on a bus,
Mhm.
and that doesn't take into account the stops we made along the way.
Yeah.
Um, so it was, I loved that trip because we all got along really well, and our leader was fantastic, Sarah, who I know you've had on this podcast. Um,
Hmm.
she was phenomenal. She just went up above and beyond. And I just loved everything we did. Like, I loved being able to go on the camels and see the Medinas and to do all the things that I didn't expect to, like go to a hammam.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I think more of a fun experience for some of us than others.
Yeah, to be fair, it was not, while I do not regret the experience, it was not my favorite day. Um, Only because I wasn't feeling great. But like I don't regret that we did that at all.
Yeah, yeah, it was a cool experience for sure. But yeah, could have been executed better, I think.
True.
Yeah, well, we also got to bond a lot over our illnesses and yeah, just being confined, in the small space for such a long time. But honestly, that was some of the best moments of my travel life. Was in Morocco, was on that bus, exploring all those really unique places in
Mhm.
Morocco, and
Yeah,
making
I
great friends
mean,
along the way too.
hmm?
And making great friends along the way.
Yeah, I mean, 6 of us went to Cuba together. What, 4 or 5
Yeah.
years later?
Yeah, I think that made the Cuba trip even more fun. Was we were coming into it already knowing each other, already being friends,
Yep.
and I mean we just kind of picked up where we left off. I felt like.
Yeah, Leah and I were saying the same, like, it was like no time had passed. I have
Hmm.
a few friendships like that in my life, and I cherish them a lot. It's just people who you may not talk to all the time or not see all the time, but then when you do, it's like no time has passed, and the jokes that you've started just continue. You already have the rapport that just doesn't end, and like those types of friendships, for me, I value a lot. Maybe more so than people I see on a day to day basis.
Yeah, yeah. I think traveling with someone else or with other people, those build the strongest bonds.
Oh yeah,
Uh, you're just in that moment together in this place where it's not your normal life, and you're figuring it out together. It's cool.
I mean, also just generally having people that you travel well together. Like
Mhm.
that's pretty unique to find like a big group of people that you can travel well together. And the fact that 6 of us were like, yeah, I liked hanging out with you for 9 days. We went
Yeah.
through some weird stuff. Let's do it again.
Yeah, and now we're already trying to plan another one.
I know. Been trying to. I know. I'm trying to figure out where the next one will be.
I know I think all of us have thrown out some ideas, but
I
we
know.
got a lot of choices.
A lot of choices, a lot of options, a lot of potential for cheap wine.
Yeah, that's the
This
most
is fun.
important part. um, yeah, that's funny. But the wine is an important piece to
Mhm.
this travel life and this friendship. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, even though Morocco was not like a party trip, somehow 2 of our friends ended up finding bottles of wine along the way. I still don't know how they ended up with so much wine. And, one of my favorite memories from Morocco is sitting in a tent in the middle of the desert, drinking wine and just
Yeah.
laughing our asses off about I don't even know what.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't remember anything that we talked about, but it was
Nope.
hilarious.
I just remember like crying, laughing, and I don't remember why.
Uh, those are the best moments.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess on that note, what have been some other, travel highlights for you? Some of those moments that you'll never forget.
Mm. I definitely have a few of them. So the first group travel trip I did, I went to Thailand, and we went to um, now I'm forgetting the name of it. It's an elephant sanctuary, and I love elephants. They are my favorite animal next to dogs, and we got to like feed them and bathe them and just like hang out with them and meet a 10-day-old elephant, and like that was
Wow.
incredible. We got to meet those like 4-day-old pigs in Cuba. Like imagine a 10-day-old elephant. Mm, so cute. Um, but being with the elephants just was so grounding for me, and it was something that I had dreamt about doing my whole life. So that's something I won't forget. Um, I also did a solo trip to Venice, Italy, um, a number of years ago, and I went during Carnival and went
Oh,
to a ball and dressed up, and the ball I went to came with a costume rental. And so like I wore the whole costume and mask and walked around, and people thought I was Venetian and wanted to take pictures with me. So I'm in random people's photos. I don't I don't know where those live. Um, but at the ball met people from DC who were like randomly sitting next to me, and hung out with them for the next couple of days. Um, yeah, that was very fun. I think just blending in and people thinking I was Venetian was probably the funniest part about that. Um, but
yeah.
also,
What
okay,
that's such a unique, unique thing to do while you're traveling. I mean, I
yeah,
can't imagine what that experience was like.
it was very fun. Venice is one of my favorite places in the entire world. Um, I've been like four or five times at this point.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was intentional about going for Carnival and doing this. It's something that like I wanted to do for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, but it was so fun because they had the traditional dancers and then like dinner and um, performances, and then afterwards there was like an after party. Um,
Mhm.
so we just like danced to modern music, and I definitely have videos of me dancing around to Billy Joel in Venice in a costume.
That's funny. Was
Very
it hard to move in those costumes? I feel like it would be.
kind of. I mean, the dresses were so like there's like a skirt was pretty wide, but like it had like a structure to keep it wide. So there was a lot of space under there. And I had like full leggings on there because it was February.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how they did it back in those days.
No, me either.
Just wearing those clothes all the time. Oh,
The hardest part was getting it on because it was a corset and I had to do it myself.
yeah. How do you even do that? That sounds terrible.
um, you're asking the right questions. I don't remember how I did that. Uh, a lot of probably just like twisting my body in weird ways to try and get those like strings to pull.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, what would you recommend for someone going to Venice? What would be like the top things to see or do, or just tips and tricks?
Mm, um, I would say hit the highlights, like see San Marco and the bridge, but also get out of the immediate city. Go see Murano and Burano. That was a highlight last time I was there. I went to Murano. which now I'm forgetting. One of them is the colorful one. I think it's Murano. Um, and each building is like a different color, and it's
Oh
very
wow.
cool. And then one of them is like the glass blowing central. So like there's a lot of like glass blowing factories. So Venetian glass is a very big thing around the world. Um,
Hmm.
and they hand make things there, which is very cool. So you can see like demonstrations and get to do glass blowing classes. I'm pretty sure they have there. So I liked when I'm traveling, especially alone, I like to do activities. Like I don't like to just walk around.
Hmm.
So I'll do like a food tour or a drink tour, um, or like book a class like that, like a glass blowing class, to give myself something to do that's not just walking around or sitting in a cafe.
Hmm. Yeah. What are your thoughts on solo travel and group travel? What would you say the pros or cons of each?
Um, so I tend to be a homebody. I am like I'm very social when I'm in social settings, but if I'm alone, I tend to retreat inwards and then have like a hard time motivating myself to go and do things. Um, so I love solo traveling because I can just do what I want, but
Hmm.
also I have a harder time motivating myself to do something unless I have like something booked like a food tour. Um, and I think that's why I love group travel so much because A, I don't have to plan anything. And
Yeah.
B, like I can be social and also experience the things that I want to experience, but may feel some anxiety doing on my own.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I really like FTLO because they're specifically picking some of these places where it's maybe a little bit tougher to do if you're by yourself,
Yep.
or more difficult to navigate, which is awesome because I think a lot of people on those trips are more experienced travelers that are interested in going to these lesser visited places,
Hmm.
uh, and one a little bit along the way, which I think is really nice.
Yeah. I would say I'm pretty comfortable traveling places by myself that like I could reasonably navigate by myself, right? Like
Hmm.
London or Lisbon, like cities where I can get around by myself and I can figure it out. But for places, especially like Morocco or Cuba, I don't even know where to begin. And
Yeah.
that's where companies like FTLO are so useful because it just takes away the anxiety of trying to plan something and trying to figure out where do I go from here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that made the especially Morocco and Cuba actually, it made it so much easier to just not have to worry about navigating any of that, or trying to speak Spanish or
Mhm.
speak Arabic to try to get somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. My, limited high school Spanish came back a little bit, but not enough to like where I would feel comfortable being by myself, especially considering that in Cuba we did not have data, or I didn't have data.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was I will say I enjoyed being disconnected basically for 4 days.
Same.
But at the same time, it's like, oh, I can't like call for help or like do
Hmm.
anything whatsoever.
Yeah, the afternoon where you and I and a few other folks went to like go shopping and walk around,
Hmm.
there was definitely a moment where people looked at each other and were like, "Are we going the right way?
Yeah,
How do we know?"
yeah, I know. I mean, I use Google Maps all the time when I'm traveling, and just
Same.
to not have that at all was, you got to go old school and remember where you're going.
Yeah, because even the offline map like won't show you where you are. So like
Mhm.
great that I have a map, but if I don't know where I am in that map, I don't know.
Yeah. And every street kind of looks the same, so you're like, I
Yep.
don't know.
I don't know how people on The Amazing Race do it.
I know. I really want to go on that show. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I could see you doing very well on The Amazing Race.
My sister and I have actually talked about it. Um, we were for a long time we were like, we probably wouldn't work well together because we just butt heads so much.
But that's
But at
why
the
you would
same
be great on
time,
it.
yeah, it would make good TV for sure.
Uh-huh.
Um, but like to actually win, I think we could now. I think we could do it. Um, we both have different skills that would be beneficial in that race.
You need
So
that for sure.
actually, that reminds me. I gotta write that down. I'm gonna see if we can get on
You should.
that. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's such a cool show,
I love that show.
especially when you get to see like, oh, I've been to that place or I've done that.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, that's so cool.
In 2020, sorry, in 2020, I lived with my family for a bunch of months. So I live in New York alone. And living in New York in 2020 alone was not the vibe for me.
Yeah.
And so I went home to live with my parents in Virginia for a while. And we realized that every season of The Amazing Race was on Amazon. So we watched a lot of Amazing Race. And for a while, I kept a note in my phone of places that they went that I wanted to go to.
What were some of the ones that stuck out?
There are definitely spots in Switzerland,
Mm.
spots in Slovenia, which is funny because Sarah was talking about Slovenia yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks familiar from watching Amazing Race. Let me see if I still have the note. Let's see. Please list to travel. Problem is I have 7,000 notes called travel, which I blame FTLO a little bit for because there's just a folder of Cuba things.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any? Have you booked any other trips with them?
Not yet. I want to go somewhere for New Year's. You and I briefly talked about this. So I was trying to figure out like A, what's available, and then B, like where do I want to go? I think I'm deciding between Belize and Costa Rica.
Yes, both good options.
Mm-hmm. Just because they're shorter trips and but would be very fun for New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have anything else like really planned for this year internationally, which is I was gonna say is new for me, but like the last few years have been sort of wonky anyway. But my parents just are moving in the process of moving to North Carolina, so I'm going down there in June, and I'm gonna try and meet up with my roommate from Cuba, and going to LA in August also to see Taylor Swift.
Nice.
There's a little bit of a pattern there.
Yeah. How many Taylor Swift concerts have you been
to? 2, will be 4 by the end of August. But I also saw her perform on Ellen because my best friend from college was interning at Ellen, and I happened to be visiting the day that Taylor was performing on the back lot of Ellen.
Wow.
So I got to see her perform.
That's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure there's only a handful of people there compared to a normal concert.
Oh yeah, it was very fun. It was myself and 2 of our other college friends who were there, and it was very fun. Didn't know what to expect, and just very cool experience.
Did you get to meet her?
No, bummer. It's fine. I actually don't know what I would do if I met her. I feel like that would be very overwhelming.
Yeah. I know, and I always think in your head like, oh yeah, I'd have this question, I would say this or whatever, and then you get in the moment, it's like, I forgot everything. I don't remember my name.
Yeah, I've definitely done that with other celebrity interactions. So I went to Amy Poehler's book signing, and they told us like, don't ask questions, don't like talk to her. It's like she's signing your book and you move on. except the person in front of me had like a full-blown conversation with her, and she like signed my book while she was still talking to this other person. And
Oh
so by the
gosh.
time I got there, I was like, "Hi, I love you. Okay, bye." Just like walked away.
Dang.
It's fine.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, any maybe travel experiences that you didn't necessarily like?
um, yeah. Uh, didn't love being sick in Morocco. Um,
That was all of us.
um, so we talked a little bit about like solo traveling and how I have a hard time like getting myself motivated to do things. So after I went to Venice, I flew from Venice to Seville, and coming off of being in an environment with high energy, people were there for a purpose, people were there and wanted to meet other people and wanted to be in a community. Then going to Seville, which is a much more insular and much
Mhm.
chiller and not really like it, I mean, tourists go there, but it's not like Barcelona or Madrid where like it's expected that a lot of tourists be. It
Yeah.
I had a harder time being in Seville on a solo trip because I think I was coming from an experience where I felt so like part of such a community, and I like met a bunch of people that I really liked, and so then like I didn't have that experience in Seville, and that was difficult to get out of my head.
Hmm.
And so I don't think that it was a bad experience. Didn't I was in the right place to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand that. The one moment that I think of where I felt that is when I was in Paris by myself and I'm standing there looking at the Eiffel Tower as the sun's setting and I'm like, this would be awesome to like have other people here
Yep.
instead of just looking at this by myself.
Yeah.
But,
Solo travel can be hard in that sense that like
mhm.
it it would just be nice to have other people there.
Yeah. But on the flip side, I feel like you meet so many people on the way too, and
For sure.
uh, yeah, I feel like you have a deeper like interaction with the place that you're in
Hmm.
when you're so just immersed in that. You don't have anyone from your perspective to like fall back on and talk to about it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Um, and I think it also depends on like where you are because I mean thinking about my Seville experience, like I tried to do that, like I tried to like go out by myself, but I think because the culture there is pretty insular in my own experience, it was hard to like talk to random people at like a bar. Um,
Mhm.
but I did love walking around and just being there.
Yeah.
Um, trying to think of other like not so positive experiences.
Well,
Oh,
we can go back to the positive ones.
oh no, I have one.
Okay. Okay.
So, I was in a cruise ship crash.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So, my family has always loved to travel. I was sort of bitten by the travel bug pretty early on in
Mhm.
life. And in high school, we did a 2-week Mediterranean cruise and started in Barcelona, got on the ship, and they were like, we were having electrical problems the last uh, itinerary, whatever, last time, but it's fine now. Everything's fixed. And we were like, why are you telling us this? Great. Um, the first day at sea, power went out for 10 minutes.
Oh no.
The next day, we were in the south of France near Nice, and we were tendered, so we weren't actually at a dock. And our boat or ship was facing like away from rocks. So, like, the back of our ship was facing rocks.
Mhm.
There was another ship in the port with us. They left first, and their wake pushed our ship. And because they were trying to fix the electrical issues, they couldn't get the propellers up fast enough to move us away. And we hit rocks and damaged 5 out of the 8 propellers.
Oh no.
Uh, my family had a stateroom on the back of the ship.
Oh no.
We were getting ready for dinner, and like my mom was like in the shower, like getting ready, and like total Titanic moment, like watch the whole thing happen. Um, yeah, so that was not great. They like closed all the blinds at dinner, sent divers down, whole nine
Okay.
yards. Uh, Figured out like that we needed to get out of that space, and we were supposed to go to a couple of other places, I think in like Turkey and Italy. Skipped those. Ended up a few days later in Civitavecchia, which is a port 90 minutes outside of Rome. It's like the closest ship port to Rome.
Okay.
And we were there for 6 days until they terminated the cruise.
Jeez.
Yeah, they like bussed us places, like the first, which like was not ideal because like the reason we were taking a cruise was to not be on a bus.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, so like we were bussed to random places in Italy, and then that's actually the first time I was in Venice. We were supposed to end the cruise in Venice, so we flew there a couple days early and spent a few extra days in Venice before our flights home.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a cold here, but
you and me
what a
both. All good.
what a terrible experience there.
Yeah, it's my family jokes about it now. I mean, we're pretty far removed at this point, but um, like my mom refers to Civitavecchia as shitty Shevecchia. So there's that.
Yeah, that's a good name for it.
It was, I think they've probably like revitalized it a bunch now, but at the time it was like industrial port. There was like nothing there.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very fun experience.
not fun.
Did anyone get hurt on the what when it crashed, or was everyone
I don't
fine?
think so. I think maybe like potential minor injuries from like jostling around, but I don't think anyone was actually hurt.
Yeah,
Um, they gave us money back, but
that's good. That's good.
yeah.
Huh. Well, let's end this on a positive note. What's another positive memory that you have traveling, and where's some of your top next places to go?
Mm, favorite memories traveling. Um, so growing up, my parents are in Virginia now, moving to North Carolina, but I spent most of my childhood on Long Island, and for a long time we used to travel up to Maine every year. So I have a lot of really positive memories going up to Maine and um, exploring Acadia National Park. And so just a lot of like positive childhood memories of traveling.
Mhm.
Um, my one of my favorite places is called Nervous Nellie's Jams and Jellies. It's in Deer Isle, Maine, and it's this cute little like sculpture garden slash jellies and jams shop.
What a name!
Um,
Awesome.
what?
That's such a cool name.
I know, it's great. I love it. I still order from there sometimes. They have like an online shop, but and
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. I think traveling with my family like early on in like my childhood, it was like really important to like sort of how I approach travel now. Um,
Hmm.
and so we did a lot of like Caribbean islands and that kind of thing. Um, but I also now want to be more exploratory of the world. And while I like there are times where I just want to lay on a beach and do nothing, I also want to see more of the world.
Yeah.
Um, which is also why I'm very impressed that you've been to all 50 states. Like truly impressed.
No, the 50 states, that was a really cool accomplishment for me. It really just it was fun to see there. I mean, there's so many cultures within the US.
Mhm.
It's such a big country, and so it was just really fun to see how things have, kind of evolved differently in just the US, even though we have been under the same, laws and things like that over the
Mhm.
years.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's fun exploring the world. It's fun, traveling and just learning about new places, the history. I thought the Cuban history was really fascinating.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and just yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just too many positive things about travel to count or to list off.
I
It's
know.
amazing.
Yeah. Like in terms of like where I want to go next. I mean, either Belize or Costa Rica. Uh, I keep seeing everybody do the Lapland's trip for FTLO, and I want to do that. Um, I've never been to Iceland. I know that was having a moment, but I didn't travel to Iceland at that point, so I'd love to go there.
Yeah, that's one I would for sure go back to.
Yeah. And were you there for more than like 24 hours?
No, it was basically 24 hours, which
Gotcha.
yeah, I really didn't get to see all that I wanted to see for sure.
Yeah. That's one that I would 100% go back to or go to. I want to do more of the Greek Isles. I've been to a few, but it was on a cruise, and so I want to go back and actually like take time and explore. And I also want to explore more of Asia. I've only been to Thailand, so Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, all on the list.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to explore Asia more too. I think Japan's one of the top ones on my list right now. I think Thailand. I haven't got to go to Thailand. I've been to other parts of Southeast Asia, but
Highly recommend.
there's a lot of so many cool places out there.
I know.
I want to go to all of them.
I know. I just want to like throw a dart at a map and just go.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, well, I know we're, all of us in the little group chat are trying to plan something. So,
Yes.
hopefully we get to go somewhere, pretty exciting.
Yes.
Which I'm sure it'll be a good time no matter what. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to to traveling more with you and the rest of the group, and seeing the travels as well. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to do this today and share your experiences. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to travel elsewhere with you.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Becca, I hope you have a great rest of the night, and I'll look forward to seeing you somewhere around the world soon.
Yeah, you too, Kyle.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.